Hello, my name is Angela Graham, and I'm a fifth grade teacher here at Windsor STEM. And I'm actually here today to show you this really wonderful software that was shared to me on a teacher resource that seems to be doing well for a couple other schools and teachers in their classrooms. But I'm here to explore it with you and see if it's a possibility for us to use in our own classrooms. Now, I already downloaded it because it's another extension. So, of course, if you're looking for it, it will be at the top right toolbar. You click the little puzzle piece. You can still see all the extensions you'll have, and you can unpin it if you don't want it to be shown. And you can also uninstall it from the same area. Um, if you look down here, the only thing you need to look into as a teacher, if you go to overview, that technically this service is paid for, like you need to pay for it. It does automatically give a 30-day free trial to people who use it, but for the teachers, they can get a free premium subscription to Read and Write for Google Chrome. You just have to activate your subscription by basically proving you are a teacher. By going to this link. I'm still going to look into it to see if that means the students can access it via, our accounts, or I don't know how they connect it to our students. I'm going to look into that because I'm still unsure how that's going to go. But the tool seems to be very beneficial. So let me go to a test page where I went to, I just looked up, science for kids, Nat Geo. So here's an article on making ice pops. Now I'm going to click here so it pulls up our bar. And it's going to be a second. And up here, you'll see a toolbar. There's a couple options, some of which I don't see myself using in the classroom. Neither do I really see our students taking much use out of, but majority of the things here seem to be really beneficial. Like for instance, like this one works in documents, but if we go to hover speech, this is a big one for improving accessibility for students that struggle with reading. And this actually will read a text aloud to them. So whatever I highlight, I'm going to highlight this whole sentence. I'm going to click the hover.
Help keep the earth healthy by ditching single-use plastic items. Make your own ice pops so you can skip the plastic-wrapped store-bought version. Left in outdoor
and you can pause it, you can stop it, you can turn it back off so it doesn't do that sentence anymore, or that little two sentences. And it actually is really beneficial because I thought it was going to be more robotic in how it spoke to students, which I thought would be a problem. But that was more clear than I anticipated, which is definitely positive here. And over here, it actually has a dictionary. So if I went and wanted to find the definition for, let's make a good word, environment, all I do is highlight it, and then they would click dictionary, and that pops up environment, the conditions that surround us, or yada yada, and it brings all up. And if you go down, it's very detailed for every kind of way that they need to break it down in, just like you would in a typical dictionary. It's actually quite impressive. Another thing I like too for the younger kids is, again, if you highlight a word or a term that you want to understand and they go to this picture icon, it brings up a picture dictionary. Now, this one might be a little different because I'm using a larger word, but this is mainly for younger kids. Think of more simpler documents or books that they'll be reading online. So like if I'm looking for ice, and it auto generates, which is nice. So you don't even have to keep bringing it up. It shows a picture of ice. Now, of course, it shows icing, but this kind of helps narrow it down what they think this might be about. We do food, and it brings up some food. Animals. And as they explore, it auto-generates this picture response, which is nice to say. It does the same thing with dictionary, the word one, but as long as you keep it up, it'll be there. Once they're done, they exit out. We have some cool options. They got a screenshot reader, which is, if you go over here, it's going to switch over to the Chrome store. That is an added attachment. It's not as popular as the one we're doing the read and write, right? So, but it's something to look into if you want them to be connected, because they are from the same developer. But going back to where we're at, it also has audio maker, so they can record audio that way and have a little recording that if they want to send to teachers. They have a web search, which is very nice. If I type in ice pops and I go to web search, it automatically Googles ice pops for me and brings up all this little information. So if they have a question and they want to look it up, they can try to find more resources. Now over here, screen mask, which I like because it helps a student who might have trouble following along on a document that they can't really follow with their finger as easily, like they would in a book. And they can go use this tool and it narrows down as you read. So you can decide like, okay, I'm working on it. I need to look at piece by piece. It really helps with focus and so they don't lose their place as easily. Um, Again, there's editing. You can change like all this color and space, and they break it down into various parts so you can make it fit your needs basically. And you can move this tool around. When you're done, you just click out of it and it goes back to normal. We also have a talk and type, which I'll show you on another document. We have a translator, which I don't, again, see the young kids using per se, unless you have an ELA student, not ELA, I apologize, a English learner. Um, and maybe they can use that. The highlighting was actually quite impressive. I did not think it would work on a web page, but if you do this, and let's say I want this whole thing highlighted blue, it turns the whole thing blue. Now, it doesn't obviously keep that on the page if you leave and come back, but as they read, if they're thinking, well, this might be important, so let me highlight this part for me, I'm going to go and highlight it. And you can have this all set up there so they can highlight things they think are important as they move down. Um, and then they can save those highlights. You can clear them when they're done, or you do collect highlights, which I'll show you in a second. They got vocabulary lists. So a new document containing your vocabulary list is being created. It automatically takes you to another Google Doc. And this is like when you highlight and pick the words that you need for it. It's still generating, so we have to give it a second, but it automatically opens one up to the email that they have provided here. And you got like word, meaning, symbol, notes. It kind of breaks it down. I'm going to X out of that. Now back over here, it even has, simplify the page. If you do that, it's going to again take you over to their web page. Now, this is not the best thing when they take them to the developers page because first it takes a while to load. It might be overcomplicated, and I don't want the students to accept permissions from a website that I'm not 100% sure of as the developer. But that's why you can just X out of this. This is more geared to older kids, like I mentioned before, because it can be kind of complicated up at the top. But let's say maybe you have an involved parent or guardian, or maybe a sibling that's trying to help out the younger sibling, or maybe the student, if you guide them through and see what buttons they want to focus on, then it can be a tool to use, especially in maybe special ed courses and something you can use at home. And then of course, as are here, practice reading aloud, which takes them again to the developer's website, which I wouldn't really use personally. It has options, feedback, again, the website that who made it. Um, and this is one thing I really like. So see how we added some highlights. I have a pink and I have, well, purplish pink, and I have a light blue. So if I click collect highlights, you can pick what colors you want. So let's say you highlighted a lot, but you only want to collect a certain highlight, then you can go and check off what you want. So I don't have any green, but let's say I did and I don't really want to save that right now. Uncheck it. That is it. Now, once I click OK, it's going to make a document again in my Google Drive. It's going to bring it up here and it gives me a link, a hyperlink, so the kids could click and see this is where I got these highlights from. And they can go to it and save all the highlights and the colors that I wanted and put it in a document for me. This is a really good tool on note taking, and students that want to maybe keep some notes as they go along and they're not really that skilled with typing, which isn't actually uncommon for the younger grades so far. And it just helps keep things, in a nice orderly manner, and automatically puts it in their drive so they can't lose it. Um, I'm going to move down and I'm going to show you something here. And it also adds the email that it's attached to. So for students, they technically don't have an email if you're in our district. It's just their school account, but it would just put their school account number and the at columbus.k12 kind of the ending. So, but if I go here, it automatically attaches to the top because it works really well with Google Docs. And let's say I want to do, let's see, talk and type. Hello, I am a teacher at Windsor STEM. Period. I enjoy teaching math and science. period. Again, you can turn that off. You can X out of this area or you can keep clicking it like on, off. I can X out of it if I'm done using that tool, but look how precise that was. That's what's impressive to me. It was very precise and clear. I mean, a lot of phones can't even do that when you're doing talk to text. So that's just another good tool to use if you're more worried about your student having a very put together response. They might be able to say it better than they can write it. So that kind of gives them an option here in showing what they know. So basically, this is a Google Chrome extension that might be useful to some teachers out there. I'm still looking into it about if it's going to work for students on their own platform or if it connects to like the same ending of the URL. I'm not 100% sure what's going on yet with that. So I'm going to explore it some more, but I wanted to share this with you in case you wanted to do some of your own independent research on it. I know some teachers that swear by it. They love it. Maybe you might not like it, but it's a tool to think about as we jump into this virtual classroom and having to learn things pretty quickly. So again, look forward to any of my other instructional videos as I explore some more Chrome extensions that might be useful in the classroom. Have a wonderful day.